Hello, good evening. Welcome to this evening's live Q&A, Wednesday night live. We are all live. We're just recovering from the excitement over on Hey You, where we launched our 2020 promotion. So if anybody missed it, just to let you know that we are about to hit 20,000 followers on the Hey You method. Woo woo! Last week it was 10,000 on our site with me, Katie Brindle, and then now it's Hey You as well, which suddenly crept up on us. So after the success of our great excitement of our party with SPF, my special guest star, what we've decided to do today is we have launched at a 20 product giveaway at 2000 hours on the 20th of May. Thank you so much, Mark, who came up with that genius idea. So what we just did on Hey You was that I've just given away literally 20 crystals, like beauty restorers, body combs and body restorers. So how nice was that? So if any of you missed it, just to let you know that we shall be doing it again tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. I shall be back on the Hey You method, giving you 20 products for free as a giveaway. And in case you don't win, and the odds were pretty good actually, you had a 1 in 10 chance, which I think is quite good. We are also doing a 20% discount across everything, and it's live now, and it's only live until Saturday night. Okay, that is a full 20% discount of all products, including the tapper. The tapper has got a discount, and I am never allowed to discount the tapper. Trust me, I would if I could, and I am not allowed. So you get 20% off. That is literally, that's £2.80 times 2. That's, what's that? That's £5.60. £5.60 off, that's loads. So how much fun was that? So please, I know it's really exciting. It was like sale of the century, and I was like, I don't know, whoever those people are, but like, what was his name? Dale Winton. What was his name, Jules? That lovely guy that did Supermarket Sweep, he sadly died. I felt like him, like giving it all away. My favourite thing in the world, just giving everything away. Oh, I had 20 minutes. I've got a complete head rush now from the excitement. But just to say that the excitement continues because every single product is discounted until Saturday night. Okay, so now is the time, if you've watched me doing these demos thinking, ooh, I'd love to have a second rose quartz or a second precision to do too, or buy a body tapper. So is the code automatic? Don't know, Jules, sorry, I can't remember. It's Dale Winton, there we go, thank you. I know he's died, sadly, but I think he's died. I'm sure he's died. It was really tragic. I remember being really upset. But basically, you have to go on the website, choose what it is you want to do, and then you have to click on something. And then they lost me. But it's really easy. It's just that I'm completely and utterly incompetent with absolutely anything technical. It's a miracle I broadcast live and willing twice a week to you guys, not to mention every morning and lunchtime. It's an internet miracle, but here I am. Anyway, so everything has got 20% off, okay? Whoop, whoop, whoop. And we are doing so we're doing a giveaway every night on Hey You, starting tonight. It just finished, but come back on tomorrow, and it's a 1 in 10 chance of winning, okay? But please tell your friends all about it and follow us, and we can hit our 20,000 followers and celebrate with you, our lovely followers who we love so much. We are literally giving you everything, okay? So what are we going to talk about this evening? Well, there's all sorts. Which Gong app? I don't know. I just basically haven't got that far yet, I'm afraid. Jules, do we know a Gong app? It would be nice to do it. Well, we are very grateful to you. Everything she touches, basically it does. Like, I can't cope, I can't work it. Literally, I can literally just press it and it works, and that's it. And otherwise I can't go. I think it's my energy. I think I disrupt the things anyway. But anyway, so let's, without further ado, we've got loads of people joining this evening, so thank you for joining. And as always, we are doing our very best to answer all of the questions that you give us and that you send in. So Jules, without further ado, are you ready? Because Jules, my co-pilot, has honestly her... I did break SPF actually, but he is back. I've resurrected him from the dead. There he is. Let's just try and bring him in a bit more actually. Hi. Do you want to say hi? I don't want to break him actually. I'm a bit worried about touching him again after last time. You're no good to anyone if I can't touch you. Right, does your elbow, there we go. No, he doesn't. He doesn't articulate his joints, so we can't really say hi. Hi! Anyway, we're all here. Now, I want to start talking to you today about a whole new exciting thing before I go launching into... Right, there we go. Right, so before I launch into your questions, which I will do, okay, what's this? My lights in QVC are not shiny. Can you send us in a photo, please? I need to have a look. Remember, these crystals are handmade, so sometimes you get a bad one, okay? We can't help that. It's because they're natural, okay? So we need to see a picture and then we'll see what we can do for you. But anyway, I'm going to talk to you tonight about this really cool thing, right? Before I go into your questions. And this is about marbles, okay? Jules this morning, I was going, marbles, Jules, marbles. She's going, oh my God, what now? Marbles, it's all about marbles. And you know what's all about marbles is I want to just talk to you and show you about how Yang Sheng works, okay? Because the idea of Yang Sheng is that it's all about like nurture life. It's about sensitive, delicate, adjusting little tweaks that you make on a day-to-day life, which is going to make a massive impact on how you feel, okay? But it is not a silver bullet and it is not a cure. And I know that Jules and I are very fastidious about saying this to you, that you must always consult with a Western medical practitioner before you enlist on anything. I am not going to be accused of basically giving kind of, you know, some crazy information on the internet that then results in somebody having like a major illness, okay? This is always about things that you can do in conjunction with Western medicine advice, okay? But the way I've suddenly decided to explain Yang Sheng in a really simple way that I thought would work and that would hopefully help you start kind of like thinking about doing more things like the Qigong and the meditation with me is that your body is like a glass jar, okay? This is you. And when you're born, this glass jar is full of qi. This is assuming you're basically healthy as a child, okay? There are some exceptions, but the average person is full of qi when they're born. And if you have strong qi, you don't get sick, okay? You don't, because the body is strong and healthy and powerful and it shakes things off and it sort of manages to blast its way through. But life is depleting our qi. Excess thinking, excess worrying, excess looking at things, not enough rest, too much rushing around, processed food, bad quality air. All of these things leach our qi, and slowly but surely the qi goes out of the body, and the body, instead of being like like this, like feeling all great and strong and healthy, starts to implode on itself. The body starts drawing the qi in to center command, which is this bit here, okay? Because what's happening here is this is where your organs are, and in Chinese medicine, your organs are responsible for the whole health of your body. And as a result, what the body will do is it will draw things in from the extremities. And what that means is that our hair starts to thin, our memory starts to go, we get ringing in our ears, our joints and articulated areas start to get painful and withdrawn, and the bones get thinner and weaker, and it's harder to metabolize food, or we get pains and pins and needles, or gout, or arthritis, and these kinds of things are all going in the extremities of the body because the body is drawing the qi in. So what do we do? And everyone comes to my clinic with their aches and their pains and their problems, and they immediately say, so I'm doing this, that and the other with my diet. And I sit there going, oh my God, okay, great. Okay, it's of course wonderful that we are all focusing on the importance of food. But can I just say, food is not the primary healing modality to the body. The primary healing modality to your body is breath. Breath, breath, breath. Something that I don't pause for very often, but that is because to my last breath, I am going to be singing and dancing and explaining and emoting the miracles and wonders of everything that is Yang Sheng Chinese medicine, because it is so brilliant. This content is so interesting and so amazing, and it will help you, okay? Because what you need to do is you need to strengthen your body up first with breath work, okay? And breath work is Qigong. Okay, and this is why I do it for free. And breath work is meditation, because that's deep breath work, deep yin breath work. And that is why every single day since lockdown started, without fail, I have done that Qigong class with you in the morning. Okay, now, why am I holding this jar? Because every single time you work on your breath, one day at a time, you put a marble, hang on, I haven't actually rehearsed this, so I just slightly messed up. Right, you put a marble into your jar, okay? And then the next day, I can so see these marbles going all over the floor in any second, but never mind. Anyway, I'm gonna style it through. Then the next day you do Qigong. You put another marble in your jar. And then the next day, you put another marble in your jar. And every single day that you do Qigong and meditation, you are putting a marble in your jar, which means at first, you probably aren't really going to notice a massive difference. You will feel relaxed yet energized. Like brushing your teeth, you will have a feeling of pleasure, okay? This is a really lovely sensation that you get there and then. You come out of that class, you're going, oh, Oh, that's nice. Oh, I feel quite nice now. That's all right, actually. Quite like that. Have I lost any weight? No. Has my symptom gone? No. Okay, but what you've done is you put a marble in your jar. Okay, and every single day, slowly but surely, you're going to add one marble at a time until, after a little while, okay, you filled... Oh, that worked quite well. Look. This is like probably 3 weeks of doing these practices. Your jar is starting to fill up with marbles and you're going to keep doing it and keep doing it. I've got more marbles downstairs. I'm going to bang on about marbles. Like Jules is like exhausted by me banging on about marbles. But this is a really good way of explaining it. This is what you need. You need these marbles going into your jar. And what's going to happen when you've got this many marbles, because you've done this much practice, is you're going to start to feel a bit better. Symptoms are going to start to just somehow or other, you think, oh, do you know what? I don't feel as bad. Like, I've got a really good example, okay? Because as you can probably tell, I talk a lot. And as you can probably tell, I work pretty hard because I'm quite excited about what I do. But even I get tired in the afternoon. By the kidney time, it starts at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I have weak kidneys, okay? And as a result, I used to get walloped at 3. 3 o'clock, I was, oh my God, I was so exhausted. And because when we started lockdown, and I do Qigong, I didn't do it every single day though, not like now, not like absolute like clockwork. And I did it regularly, and I went to yoga regularly, but not daily, okay? And when we started lockdown, and I was working really hard, doing all the live feeds with you guys, I'd get to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I would have to go and lie down, I'd have to have an hour out of my day and go and lie down, and I would sleep for an hour. Then I'd be okay. But it still took an hour out of my day. And what I've noticed since doing the Qigong every single day, that I also have been adding marbles to my little jar on a daily basis. And slowly but surely, I've suddenly noticed that those afternoon slumps, suddenly I kind of noticed that I didn't need the sleep. Okay, I didn't need it. And I was feeling a bit tired, but didn't need the sleep. And then suddenly for about the last week, I've noticed that I'd forgotten, which is what happens, I'd forgotten I had even the problem. And that is when you're getting somewhere. Because I've seen this with patients over the years. I've been doing this for 20 years. And what happens is they forget they have those symptoms at all. You forget because you're healthy and you don't even remember that you felt like that. And that's why when we're in clinic, we take notes so that we can refer back and go, well, you came here saying that you couldn't sleep and you used to go to loo 3 times a night and that you were 5 stone overweight. And then and suddenly you're not any of those things anymore. And you go, oh my goodness me. Because what it is what the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu says, and I say it all the time, the journey of 10,000 miles starts with a single step. Okay, and I will translate that into modern living, saying the journey of your health starts with a single marble, okay? One marble at a time. You just gently, gently, gently. And the exciting thing about all of this is that it's pleasurable, okay? And I say this to you, everyone needs to go and get marbles, okay? Everybody needs to go and buy an empty jar and buy a load of marbles. And every single time you do meditation or Qigong or Aaron's 12 Rivers, okay, I want you to put a marble in your jar. And I want you to laugh at it and notice how things are changing in your body as you're adding those marbles into your jar, okay? Damn it, I should be selling jars and marbles, shouldn't I, that you could be getting with your beauty restorers, but never mind about that. The idea of this, it's the marble jar, okay? It's a thing, okay? And the thing about marbles is that it just gives you that little idea about the fact that when you do these techniques with me, that these are simple, pleasurable, lovely things, healing things. Healing is a lovely experience. Even the healing crisis, which is largely considered unpleasant, is actually a moment of opportunity for you to actually indulge your body in rest and go, do you know what? I don't feel very well. I am going to bed. And someone is going to have to deal with whatever it is that I was dealing with before, because I'm not well. And there is nothing wrong with that, especially in the middle of the situation we're in right now, that we can absolutely, I'm so pleased that this is working for you. Yay, I'm loving it. And her potion pot, that's gone downstairs again now. What have I got? I've got Oscar's still here. Oh, I tell you what, I have got quite a nice little thing. Right, are we all good with the marble in the jar analogy? Okay, so, yeah, Jules, where have you gone? Jules is here. JP Bonjour, Jules is there, you go, Jules is here. Jules, what are you going to have to deal with? She's moaning again. Jules is really cross with me because I made her write copy all afternoon and then changed my mind. And I didn't even have time to listen to the fact she was cross. I just had to send her a heart and go, sorry, I'm really sorry, but never mind. Anyway, right. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about this evening, apart from marbles in the jar, so hopefully we've got that the idea of Yang Shen is little baby steps that are pleasurable and they work with your body, and slowly but surely they bring the chi strong, okay? And remember, but diet is important. I'm not saying for a minute that you mustn't be focused on eating the right foods. Of course you must, okay? And that's a whole chapter in the book. But I must please say to you that breath, oxygen, doing the Qigong with me every single morning, getting a little marble in a jar every single day as you're doing that practice, and you will start to notice how brilliant it is. And we have got, so I know poor Jules is supposed to be on a Greek island right now. She's supposed to be like Shirley Valentine, having a great time. And alas, she's with me, she's stuck with me forever. Luckily for Jules, she has you guys, because you are all lovely to Jules and she really loves you all. And she has her own little thing going on there when I'm off on one. Right, let's all just have a minute. Never mind applauding for the NHS. Can we just applaud for Jules, please? Thank you, Jules. Thank you, Jules, for putting up with me. Thank you for being so lovely. Can I just say, our whole community love you, Jules, okay, and everything that you do for us. Can I just say, Jules is amazing. She answers all our questions. She looks after everything. She also researches everything that I say to make sure that I don't overpromise, which is a bit of a tendency that I'll have. So she hauls me in and keeps me safe. So thank you, Jules, for everything that you do for us. You are much appreciated, okay? Even by me, even when I don't actually have time to tell you that in the working day, and I have to save it for the public performances. Anyway, so we've got the marbles in the jar. We understand the significance and the importance of breath and of doing Qigong and meditation, okay? So please join us on those classes. They are free, okay? And the 12 rivers, of course, that Aaron does to extend over and above the basic Qigong that I do with you. Jules, perhaps you could just put Aaron's Instagram tag in there, because he's a wonderful teacher. And if you do his class, you get an extra marble, okay? Thank you, Jules, you've forgiven me. By the way, when this content comes out, we'll let you know, okay? And we'll have to applaud Jules all over again. Anyway, thank you, Jules, for not being in Greece right now and for staying with us in lovely Somerset, looking after our community whilst we're all in lockdown. So the other thing that I promised to tell you about today before I start going into your questions was about this picture, which was very embarrassing because I showed my complete and utter lack of competence when it came to working my phone. And I'm not going to repeat that. I'm just going to show you. This was the picture in question, which I was trying to show you and realised it was the wrong way around, and then tried to do it in the mirror and couldn't work that out. That was my dyspraxic brain was never ever going to be able to work that out, but it was quite entertaining. So Jules has very kindly put it up onto the story today so that you've actually got this, so you can have a look at it, and we are saving it in the health section of Instagram, so you've got it. But the reason I got so excited about this picture and wanted to talk to you is because this picture was taken from an ancient kind of, well, not an ancient, it was a modern book all about ancient medicine, which is, as you know, my absolute pet topic, which was, what did people used to do to stay well? That is the question, okay? Because right now we're faced with a very serious disease and we need to do everything we possibly can to look after ourselves. So the question is, what do people used to do? Because I've learned along the way as a Chinese doctor that there is Chinese medicine practitioner, that there is all ends of stuff out there that people used to do that's just simply got forgotten about, okay? So, I'm so glad you love Aaron. I know we love Aaron. And so therefore, when I was reading this particular book, this picture, which is on the Instagram now, okay, this picture, what this picture is basically a diagram of how people used to stay well, okay, before the wonders of Western medicine. Because Western medicine is amazing, of course, but the problem with it is that we've all got a bit complacent, because what's been going on for about the last 50 years is first of all, we have a free health service. Hurrah, thank you so much. Thank you, NHS. But the thing is, and it's a great health service all in all. And therefore we have all got a bit sort of lazy, because what I've learned in clinic along the way is that we all sort of live our lives and think and do what we do. And then we think that they, the great doctors, are going to fix whatever it is that we've got the problem with, and that they will sort it out. And the answer is actually, well, they will probably do a very good job of doing it, but nobody lives your life for you. You live your life. And I have specialised in diagnosis now for many years. And looking at this picture, it really explains how society was organised in terms of its healing. This used to be normal, and this is why I got terribly excited, because the new normal was we just go to the GP and they give us a tablet. And eventually you go and see a consultant, and then they probably extract it. That's roughly what happens. And that's great, because it really does a lot of good things. But what else? What other stuff was going on? And what you've got here is that self-health, which is what we talk about, was at the beginning of the journey, okay? And self-health divided itself into what was considered to be called classical medicine, which is what I practice. What I talk about is classical medicine. It comes from a Chinese angle, but then what happened was classical medicine that was also very much in Europe for like 2,000 years ago, that became the origin of, say, the old classic culture, which was kind of the Romans, okay, which in turn became Christian Rome, and in turn Christianity took a foothold in Europe, and that's all fine. But then what happened was this wisdom, this classical medicine wisdom in the East went into the Taoist system of masters. So like you have like a lineage, which is like why Long White Cloud Qigong is a lineage, and John is kind of up at the top, and Aaron is further down here because it's a lineage. But in Europe, it went into the monasteries. It went into the bricks and mortars, and it went into the monasteries. And if you wanted to learn it, you'd become a monk. Okay, note male, not female, but that's a topic for another day. And then in turn, what then happened was that would become the people that practiced this kind of wisdom turned into, they were spiritual occupations, and people chose, it was a calling, and they would go into the monasteries in order to labor, like, you know, beekeeping and tilling the ground and gardens and all the rest of it, to kind of align themselves to nature, which is what we're asking you to do now, like go outside and breathe fresh air. They would pray, which is what we do, is now encouraging you to do meditation. It's the same thing. It's basically calming the body. And they would go on pilgrimages. Now, pilgrimages is an interesting one because it's basically like going on retreat, but you'd be walking, because the idea is that you should be going on a journey in order to kind of like reach enlightenment at the end of it, which is a similar concept to us going on retreats. But pilgrimages were indeed a good thing, and they were something that you would do, and many cultures still have this, that it's something that you should do in your life to kind of basically take on board your shit, which is what kind of happens when we hit our middle ages and we go into our kind of our moments of crisis in our life. That's when you go on a pilgrimage. You take a bit of time out. And weirdly, with COVID, we're all on a bit of a weird pilgrimage right now. None of us necessarily wanting to go on it, but we are indeed having to face up to ourselves and our lives and our environments and what we want out of our life, because suddenly everything's just sort of stopped. All the noise is shut down. So that was kind of how that bit happened. And then the other aspect of, so self-health went to classical medicine, went eventually into the monasteries and became like religion, okay? But then in the meantime, there were the healers, okay? And that was, these were the people that would serve you, okay? So this was midwives, wise women, healers, physicians, apothecaries, barbers, and surgeons. Okay, now barbers were interesting because if anyone's heard of Sweeney Todd, barbers in our culture used to do bloodletting. Oh yes, they did. Now it then went all out of hand and basically got a really bad press. But bloodletting is very much still a part of traditional medicine in Chinese medicine. And boy, oh boy, does it work. So for example, my daughter, who gets tonsillitis, or used to regularly, before I knew all of this stuff, she'd go and get antibiotics, which are really bad for you. And anyway, we know we shouldn't be taking them, but I had no choice. And yet all I needed to do was do a tiny little pinprick right here with a special little needle. One prick like that, I would do it and just do like that, one drop. And then she'd go to bed for the rest of the day, and she was as right as rain, because it was going through the large intestine channel goes through the throat, which is where the tonsils are. All you had to do was release the heat. One pinprick. Now, I'm not saying everyone needs to now go off and start stabbing their children. Of course not. You need to know what you're doing. But that was what was going on. These were the practitioners. Okay, so we still have midwives. Wise women, what was happened to them? Well, they all were burnt at the stake. So all of this info was largely destroyed, largely during the witch hunt, largely during the sort of the 15th, 16th century in this country. And then, of course, what happened was this country I'm in England, obviously, this country got pretty powerful, and consequently, off it went. We went off and colonised most of the world and destroyed all of their natural medicine traditions at the same time. So in the meantime, what we were looking for within the self-health capacity was lifestyle and exercise were very much considered part of the healing modalities. It's down over here. I know you can't see it, but it's over here, okay? So that was how society and health organised itself, which is why I was so excited about telling you this and showing you this amazing picture. Of course, it completely flummoxed me. So it's up there on the grid for all to see today. But that, I thought, was just a really interesting way. And you see, this is really when I come online with Jules to talk to you about this stuff, is that this is what I constantly say. We are not competing with Western medicine. We're not trying to. I'm not in any shape or form saying, because back in the day, they'd have physicians and they would have surgeons, okay? In Chinese medicine, they would they were doing surgery on people like, 6 centuries BC. There's records of all this going on, using acupuncture as anaesthetic. I mean, they really knew what they were doing. They had inoculations like thousands of years BC. They were using this stuff. They knew. Human beings have known how to look after themselves for thousands and thousands of years. That's all they did. They didn't have Netflix in those days. They had plenty of time to sit there thinking about all this, and plenty of people to experiment on, because everyone was poor. Loads of people were poor. They didn't have any choice in the matter. So it's really, really fascinating stuff. And the point being is that I know I come at you via a Chinese kind of angle on this stuff, because that happens to be where I've ended up. The only reason that is, by the way, is because it's one of the few systems that's still intact. Therefore, it's easy. It wasn't easy at all. It's actually really difficult, but it was possible to study it, to learn, because it's still there. Now, it was largely destroyed. Okay, what happened in China was because meanwhile, whilst all this was going on in Europe, China, a completely different culture, okay, and they kept their master system, which was the same information. Okay, same but different. And they basically, what they did in China was it went into this mastery lineage where basically if you were worthy of the information, of course you still had to be a man, obviously, but if you were worthy of this information, then you got to kind of go up the pecking order. And weirdly, I've discovered that even myself in my own life, that it took me a lot of persistence to find the Chinese masters that I now work into. I had to really prove myself worthy of their attention. I didn't just sort of find them on the internet. These people are hidden. The masters are hidden. That's why I'm not a master, okay? And I'm quite happy to say that. You would never find a master on Instagram, okay? You just simply wouldn't, because they just wouldn't be doing this. So I like to position myself as a bit of a sort of noisy gatekeeper that's going, roll up, anyone want to feel a bit better? Come over here. And then I'll draw you in with crystals and tools and fun and laughter. And then if anyone's interested, if you want to, there's all these amazing people behind me, like SPF, who I've literally bored to death. But anyway, so the point is that this information was just as prevalent in China as it was in Europe. But what happened was, because of Chinese, well, I'm just an introduction, okay? No, definitely did not Google. No, I didn't Google. I know Jules would have done. Jules, you would have just Google it. Just Google it. Can I just tell you that we do not Google this information, okay? Anyway, where was I? The idea about these lineages is that what happened in China was that their history was different to ours, and they kept this classical medicine was going all the way through to the turn of the 20th century. And then what happened was China basically imploded as a culture kind of about this time 100 years ago. It all just basically went a bit wrong, because it had all just gone a bit too far. And the Western powers were then taking sort of chunks of the ports of the great sort of Chinese empire. And the missionaries went in, and Christianity went in, and our Western medicine techniques went in, and they're all really sparkly and amazing. And everything that this sort of natural medicine all looked terribly pagan in comparison. And they were like, oh dear, I'm not sure about this. And the Chinese, being an incredibly thorough nation in terms of how they deal with things, look at what they did with COVID. They just deal with it and stop it and sort it out. What they did was they abolished their own medicine tradition. For about 30 years, it was illegal to practice acupuncture or even study it. And they were very thorough about that. So a lot of the masters got killed off, or they left. And then what happened was they had a whole load of health problems, and then they had a cultural revolution. And that's totally okay, because Chairman Mao then came in and went, hang on a minute, Chinese medicine is a national treasure. I think we're going to bring it back. And of course they did, but they brought it back in a different way. Okay, they repackaged it, and it's still brilliant. Okay, TCM, which is what that is absolutely amazing. I mean, the TCM practitioners that I have met along my journey are second to none. But they did eliminate certain aspects of classical Chinese medicine. They did, and it's coming back and it's resurging itself, because at the time in the 1950s, they were dealing with a huge population. It was a huge amount of poverty. They were trying to restructure an entire country of like billions of people, and consequently, they had to and they wanted to bring in a methodology. So they kind of made it kind of prescriptive, like Western medicine. Oh, headaches, you do this. Period pain, you do that. And they looked at your tongue and they looked at your pulse, but they didn't look at what made you uniquely you. These are the Bar-Z charts that I read, okay? This is the kind of the soul of the person, the spirit of the person, the higher self of the person. This was the bit that got just moved away, okay? Because they were dealing with the physical, they were dealing with making sure you could work, making sure you could stay alive. And I think one of the most amazing thing that's going on right now in this moment in history is that we, in turn, have got, like China has now completely evolved, beyond where they were in the 1950s, and they were like a global superpower extraordinaire now, and indeed are returning back to things that they'd eliminated in the 1950s as a recognition of the fact that actually, indeed, this stuff is pretty useful after all, and we're in a different society now, it's a different century altogether, and we can bring a lot of the stuff that they actively banned is now back in place because they can see how it helps people. So, for example, Qigong, which I bang on about with my marbles and all the rest of it, right, what have I not done? What have I not done? Jules, what's the problem? It doesn't matter. I'm going to talk about the stuff in a minute, okay? Right, I'm going to do the tongue next, okay? So let me just finish this because it's really interesting. Okay, so what happened was that now we're in this incredible moment where doing Qigong is that's one of the main things that they're doing to strengthen the immune system. That's what they're doing. I mean, okay, they did lockdown and they did that and they've used Western medicine. Of course they have. They've adopted our medicine practices because they're like, great, they're brilliant. But they're bringing in their own and they're using theirs too. So we should be doing the same. They've looked at ours and gone, oh, that's good. We'll do that. But we'll also do this, and this, because this is inherent in our culture. But we have stamped ours out. So the best way to bring it back is to look at what they're doing and go, well, hang on, we should be copying them. So all I can say is please, please, please do Qigong with us, okay? Because it's... so there we go. So I'm going to stop talking about all this and I'm going to talk about tongues. Okay, so tongues. One of the questions was, how can you tell a healthy tongue? Okay, so... to demonstrate. There is a tongue chart that I'm going to put up onto the grid. Jules, can you remind me to please put the tongue chart up because it's a really good description. But tongues and pulse were one of the main ways that traditional Chinese doctors, and indeed I too, diagnose. Okay, so the thing is, the tongue is a muscle and it is an indication of what is going on the inside of the body. So a tongue should be like moist, like smooth edged and pink. Like a nice, like a lump of fresh tongue. If you sorry for vegans and vegetarians, but if you go to a butcher's and you see a piece of tongue or even a piece of meat and it's kind of springy and it's not fatty and it's not like salivary or anything like that. So that's what you're looking for, and that reflects a healthy body. Why? Because it's full of qi, it's full of blood, and it's balanced. It's not too damp, not too dry, not too cracked, or any of these things. The minute we've got things, then you know that there's an issue. So when you're looking at tongues like mine, like, I've got a crack down there and I've got scallops at the sides, and it's a bit pale. I cannot believe I've just done that on social media, but anyway, other people are saying, yay, look at me in my beautiful outfit, and I'm showing my tongue. Okay, and it's slightly purple. It's pinky here. That's the heart. And then the other bit about the tongue is that the bits at the side are to do with the digestion. The bit down the middle is the stomach and the bit at the front is the heart, okay? Stomach has got a crack in it. Scallop around the edges. Pinky at the front. Right, what does that all mean? Right, well, these are very common traits, okay? When you go scallop, so everyone have a good old look at your tongue. If you're in your bathroom, and if not, have a look in a minute, okay? I know. So pretty. Well, anyway, who cares? It's not about me looking pretty. It's about me helping you understand yourselves, okay? So I couldn't care too. So I know I'm going, Does anything stop me talking? Yes, it does. Jasmine's singing bowls stop me talking. So when you've got the scalloped edges, okay, that's too much damp in the body, okay? If the tongue's got like teeth marks and the tongue is ever so slightly expanded as a result, too much damp. You need an anti-candida diet, okay? That normally starts to cause weight gain, sluggishness, muzzy head, waking up in the morning feeling exhausted. You know, those are like heavy thighs, a bit middle-aged spread. You know, it's trying to lose weight and the slightest bit of cake seems to put weight on you. Right, that, okay, that's damp. And the best thing to do for that is, of course, there's bells and whistles I could go into for Chinese nutrition, but because we're on a live feed and I have to kind of, you know, like work to the masses, I like to use kind of like modern day dieting kind of techniques which are healthy. I don't mean diet, I mean just like methods. The anti-candida diet, it's an easy one to Google and it cuts out all the damp forming foods in the body. So start with that. And there's a few rules of thumb all about, which is in the book, which is about how you eat, because that also creates damp, like having ice in your drink, that kind of thing. The cracks down the middle, that's actually heat in the stomach. Okay, so often you can have a damp digestive system, but the stomach itself, which is energetically hot, can be too hot. Okay, why? Stress, largely, to be honest. And again, ice in our drinks or eating cold foods out of the fridge, because weirdly the stomach is a hot organ. It's called a cauldron. Right, Jill, stop putting me on with Googling it, okay? You're going to put me off. I'm trying to explain here. Right. So the stomach in Chinese medicine is called a cauldron. It's like a bubbling cauldron, like going bloop, 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 bloop. And in goes the food 3 times a day. And you chew the food really, really thoroughly, and you put the salivary amylase all over it and start digesting it. And you swallow it down, and you sit upright, and you have pleasant conversation and low lighting and a little bit of music and a nice bit of conversation, blah, blah. Well, that doesn't really happen. I myself have had 2 meals today by my desk. And the third one, I had about 5 minutes to eat it. So, and I know what I know what I should be doing. So there's no hope for most of us. But the point is that those kinds of eating habits, plus, a glass of wine, which is from the fridge, or a fizzy drink with ice in it, or anything like that, what that's doing is actually making the stomach, which is naturally hot, it's cooling it down. So it's the equivalent of putting a hot bowl of soup in your fridge. Your fridge has got to work twice as hard to maintain its cold temperature. In the case of your stomach, it's got to work twice as hard to keep itself hot. And consequently, it overcompensates because it's like, oh my God, we're cold, heat, to keep its temperature up. And then, of course, you start digesting the food and then it's too hot. That often creates like refluxy problems. It often creates weight gain, and it will definitely start to manifest itself as cracks in the tongue. The other thing to talk about tongues is that if they are a bit pale, it means there's a bit of blood deficiency. And when you say blood deficiency, then immediately the qi becomes deficient, because qi and blood are completely intertwined and connected to one another, okay? So qi is the commander of blood, and blood is the mother of qi, and it's the ultimate symbiosis in the body of yin and yang, because qi is yang and blood is yin, and they are completely intertwined. So if one gets weak, the other one gets weak. So if it's pale, you've got qi and blood deficiency. Now, the obvious way that everyone will go, I need to eat blood-nourishing foods. And if you Google it, yes, Jules, if you Google it, Chinese medicine blood-nourishing foods, up will pop everything you need to know about blood-nourishing foods. And then off everyone goes from Chinese Medicine College, and they all go and buy Floridex, and they all start eating all the various things like aduki beans and, oh my God, anything that's red in colour and blah, blah, blah. And I sit there thinking, you got to do Qigong. I mean, you've just got to do Qigong. Remember your marbles, remember your jar, and do Qigong. Because breath is the number one energy into the body, okay? That's going to strengthen up your blood, and it's going to strengthen up your qi. So if your tongue is a bit pale, that's what you need to be doing. Of course, look after your diet, of course, but it's the secondary, not the primary, okay? And the final thing to say, as demonstrated by my tongue, that is a little bit on the red side compared to the rest. You have another look. You can see that tip, red, that's the heart. Means there's a little bit of heart fire going on, and heart fire is quite common because with the stress response, we're all rushing around and the heart's going, oh my God. And we all love being excited, me as well. I love going on these live feeds and I love chatting away to all of you, but it involves my fire energy because I've got to communicate and connect. Liver healing, yes. Oh, well, there you go, Jules, thank you, you've answered that. So basically, that is showing in my tongue. If you've got a little red tip on the tongue or you get little ulcers quite easily, that's tongue fire, okay? So that is a little bit of an intro into the tongue. I hope heart fire, just heart energy, okay? And a lot of us are kind of excited. You know, we COVID is different because we're all stuck at home, and that's a whole completely different ballgame. But go back to normal life. Okay, normal life, get up in the morning, go commute, get on a train, go to work, deal with problems, no, come back, go out, go for drinks, go to a party, look at your phone, look at Instagram, look at Netflix, excite. The human body is not designed to do that. Not mine, not yours, not anyone else's. And I'm just as bad, by the way. I'm not sitting here holier than thou going, I don't do that. I do that. I did that. Like, you know, I'm just the same as everyone, but I know how to counterbalance it, and that is the point, okay? Not perfectly, I'm not a Chinese master, I still have a red tip on my tongue, but I do my marbles, okay? And the more I do my marbles, the more I can counterbalance the pace of life that I like to be at, or that my world commands me to be at. And I urge you to do the same, that whilst we're in this COVID moment and we're in this kind of moment of sort of resetting, this is the time to start getting into these good habits. This is not the time to just be sitting there, just, you know, kind of not getting involved in these things. This is the moment we have the opportunity to do it, and learning is something, going inside the body, understanding how the body works. Try it for a week with your marbles. Give it a routine. Do the same thing at the same time every day. Break for lunch, break for dinner. Go for a little walk. 100 steps after each meal. It's a really good thing for the digestive system. It's really good for weight loss, okay? Cooling down the stomach. Don't eat cold foods. Don't eat anything out the fridge. Don't have anything with ice in it. Don't drink whilst you're eating your dinner. Eat your food and drink in between time, okay? These are the kind of things you can do. Look at the digestive chapter in my book. These are techniques. Use the body comb in the shower in the morning. And this is what I love so much about where Jules and I have got to. Thank you, Jules, because she has literally enabled me to get this all out of my head into some kind of comprehensive system of explaining it to you. Otherwise, it was just, if you think I'm bad now, you should have seen what I was like 3 years ago. It's complete chaos. But anyway, we got there now. We've got there, okay? So, right. So I find I'm really exhausted, aching after walking these days. I cool down and tap, which helps, but it doesn't cure. No, that's probably because there's probably a bit more to it. So first of all, I would urge you again to do the Qigong and the meditation. It sounds like your body's tired. It sounds like the chi of the body needs strengthening up. And this takes us to something that Jules and I were writing this afternoon, which I'm afraid, sorry, Jules, I changed my mind on. But never mind, the content is the same. Exercise and fitness. It is not a question of calories in versus calories out, okay? So if you're overexerting your body when your body is weak, when the chi is weak, all you're doing is making things worse. You've got to strengthen the chi of the body. You've got to think about your marbles. Walking person, sorry, I've lost your name now. You've not got, there's not enough marbles. So therefore the walking exerts you. And then what I've done is if you've got this many marbles, your walking has taken out this many every single day. You can do that every day. You're going to take them out, okay? You're going to get weaker and weaker and weaker. You've got to do Qigong. The tapping is not enough. So what the key thing about this stuff is you've got to find your pivot point, okay? Your healing point. If you were in clinic, I'd be finding it with you. But luckily with the live feeds, we can work on this together. Walking is really good for you. Walking is really good for you, but perhaps when you go for a walk next time, you actually sit and have a little rest halfway down. Take a walking stick, for example, with a little seat thing on it, and just rest and be in nature. And then do some Qigong breathing, do some Qigong exercises. Learn the moves with me. Just do a couple. Do the healing sounds. Do the lifting the sky whilst you're in nature, because it starts to build up the chi. Okay, and that's what we all need to do. Everyone, as far as I'm concerned in the West, is completely and utterly like chi deficient. We're all exhausted. We all work so hard. I've been in clinic for 20 years. I have yet to meet a person, and I've done everyone. I've done like rich, famous, royalty, like, you know, different nations. I've been all over the world doing what I do, and I can tell you that nobody is coming into my clinic going, oh yeah, you know, I do Qigong and I do this. And what they do is they're all rushing around like lunatics, all of us, every single one of us, traveling too far, having to fit too much into our daily life, not eating properly. Even if we think we're eating properly, we're not, and not living a balanced lifestyle. Very few people meditate, and hardly anyone I've ever met does Qigong, okay? And it's absolutely okay to drink a glass of wine, okay? Oh my goodness me. I'm never going to sit there saying don't do anything. By the way, it's absolutely fine to do anything, okay? What is important is pleasure and balance, okay? And Qigong. do Qigong. Don't even buy anything, okay? I mean, like, please do buy stuff. And anyway, we're giving it all away at the moment, so you don't need to buy anything. Just come on the Hey You feed and we'll just give it to you anyway. But it's about the free stuff, okay? Do the exercises, get yourself some marbles and notice for yourself. With each day that you put a marble in your jar, okay, you will notice that you're going to start to get better, okay? I've got loads of questions on the sheet. Okay, I am going to flower through the questions. Right, we've done a healthy tongue. We've done that one. Right, nosebleeds. My grandson he's 5, he's got nosebleeds. How do you tap on a child and where do you tap, please? Right, you have to go and see a doctor. I can't give you advice on that kind of thing. That would be really, really unprofessional. But what I can say is that nosebleeds is too much heat in the body, okay? And the body is trying to get rid of blood because it's trying to get rid of heat. So it's coming out through the nose. Okay, so what's going on is the child is probably too excited and needs to basically do some relaxing exercises in order to calm the whole body down in the first place. So I would actually teach him some breathing stuff, do the smiling breath meditation, do the healing sounds, and basically just do some really basic, if the child likes to move around a lot, do some Qigong exercises, but do like a couple of minutes very regularly during the course of the day, because you've got to get the heat out of the body. And foot bathing would also be quite a useful thing because it starts to get the healing down. So that would be that one. But please, you have to see a doctor for that. It would be totally unprofessional for me to give paediatric advice over and above just saying that there's too much heat. Right, meditation is stressful and causes anxiety. If meditation is so good for me, why do I resist meditation and find it stressful when I try it? This has always stopped me from giving it a proper go. I did the lunchtime session, but I still felt anxious and I'm doing it. Maybe this thing explains the reason of the book. Right, okay. So, okay, meditation is really like difficult for us, okay? This is why I do it. Now, what I would suggest you do is, lady with the meditation, is please listen to Jasmine. Okay, she does this beautiful singing bowl meditation. It's only 10 minutes and it's on at 12:15. It's on before me. And the singing bowls do the work. Okay, what I would suggest you do is just relax. Okay, don't even start thinking about meditation. Just go and listen to her singing bowls for 10 minutes and just relax. Here we go. I can't win. I'm trying to explain to people, really interesting. I'm doing tongues, I'm doing the healing, I'm doing marbles, and now I'm doing... Exactly. Right. Anyway, I'm all right. I do breathing exercises all day long. Meditation lady, please listen to the singing bowls. Just do that. Lie down, just lie on the floor and let the singing bowls do the work for you. Let Jasmine do it for you, okay? And get some singing bowl, maybe message her, because she's so lovely, she answers everything. Message her and say, like, which singing bowl kind of like downloads could you get off Spotify? Just lie there and listen to them. The bowls will do the answer because they will get the vibration relaxed in the body. What happens with meditation is that we're zinging up here, me especially right now, going up here, and it's really hard to get it down into the body, and the body starts almost going, oh well, I can't do it, I've got so much to do, to just really get it down. And yet that's the very thing you need more help, you need vibration. You can even do the healing sounds. Just start with active meditation. Start with the healing sounds and actively just breathing with the healing sounds. Doing what I do with the Qigong, do the Qigong, do the healing sounds, do this, and the tapping that I've taught you in the healing sounds with the Qigong class in the morning, and try listening to the vibrations that Jasmine should do every single day this week, and then come back and ask us the question in 2 weeks' time if you do the singing bowls as to whether, and then join my lunchtime feed, see how you get on, and then tell me how you are after that, because I think that will do the answer for you. And then we've got big one here. Oh, constipation. Oh, I love a bit of bowel movement. Right, what have we got going on here? Right. I know, she's amazing. Honestly, Jasmine's bowls. I thought you said Jasmine's bowels for a minute because I'm on constipation. It's not Jasmine's bowels, it's Jasmine's bowls. If anyone is not following her, please do. She is just like incredible. Her singing bowls are beautiful, okay? So that's that one. The next one, constipation. So you've had it all your life, and 18 months ago had agonising pain under my ribs on the right hand side. Gallstones were thought to be the cause. Those scans revealed nothing, and it was thought it could be pancreatitis. Rejected suggested the gallbladder should be removed, and the diagnosis was changed to IBS. Right. Bowel moves every 3 to 4 days, hard, little pale. Could you offer health and advice? I don't know what to do. Right, now, this is an interesting one, okay, because constipation is quite... There's various different sorts of constipation in Chinese medicine. You've got lung imbalance, liver imbalance, gallbladder imbalance, spleen imbalance, stomach or kidney. So hello, that's basically everything. And what we're looking for is when... I think what we've got going on here, sorry, I'm just looking at my own notes because I wrote these like last week. I think what we're looking at is that this is definitely gallbladder related simply because of the location of the pain. But by the way, please, you have to consult a GP because we cannot offer Western medical advice and it's not a substitute. But what I would recommend, in addition to anything that your Western doctor suggests, given the location of the pain and the fact that they're like dry pellety type stools, is that it's the liver and the gallbladder needs support. And then secondly, we need to look to nurture the spleen and the stomach. So the first thing is download the liver and the spleen fact sheets, okay? So those are like basics. And then we need to start looking after your liver a bit better. So we need to limit greasy food. We need to oh my God, I'm talking too fast, right? We need to limit greasy food, cold food, salty food, spicy food, alcohol, excessive eating. It's really important not to overeat. Okay, something that took me ages to learn that one. Okay, but basically to eat really slowly. Cut your food right down into little bits and eat slowly. Chew each small mouthful very, very slowly. Okay, and eat at regular intervals. Then that would be the thing. Then rose tea is really good for soothing the liver qi. And by the way, folks, everybody, rose tea is really nice right now. We're going into the summer and rose tea is what we want to drink right now. And the other thing is gua sha on the belly is a really useful thing to do. So what I would do is I would get your comb and I would be combing, hang on, let me show you on SPF. I would be combing around the middle like this, okay, because your liver is over here and you want to be going around the body like this. This is really, really important, okay? And I would also be using the gua sha comb on the upper side of the foot, from the toes to the ankle, like that, toes to ankle on the upper side of the foot. And then I would, of course, you must do the 12 rivers, okay? So always start with the Qigong that I do, but the 12 rivers is what you need to move on to, because there is an imbalance in your gallbladder. There is also things like liver salts, which are really useful, but you need to make sure that you know what you're doing, and I'm not going to give you the direction over the internet. I would suggest you speak to a naturopath. The woman that I would always recommend when you're looking at herbs, because there are herbal tinctures that you could be given. Jules, please give the name for... Frances Turner, please. Frances Turner Herbs. She's incredible. She's the only person that I would absolutely put my hand on my heart and go, she is just absolutely superb, and I trust her implicitly to be able to sort this out. So those would be the things that I would be looking to do, okay? And then on the other end of things, so we've done the healthy tongue. We're doing quite, you see, I'm nearly finished. Right, diarrhea, so we've got the other end of it. So we've got this lovely, poor thing. Daughter's been stuck in Koh Mak off the island of Thailand since lockdown, and she's now not very well, and she's got really bad diarrhea. She went to the pharmacy, blah, blah, blah. So what we're looking is that the spleen, when you've got a serious diarrhea like that, you've got to go and see a doctor. You just have to. But in conjunction with that, please download the spleen fact sheet and have a good look at everything there. You need to make sure you're eating warm food. But I think part of the problem here is that you've got, there's probably problems with the actual food itself. So the obvious thing would be to try and see if she could actually self-cater and just eat really simple foods like rice and just really, really well-cooked everything, water that's been boiled, and everything along those lines, and look at the spleen fact sheet. But Jules, could you make a note on this lady, and I will see if I know any of the Chinese masters, because I know what you need to do. Mantak Chia himself, he is in Chiang Mai, and he runs the Tao Gardens, or the Tao Garden Retreat up there. You need to phone them up and see if they can help, because they're in Thailand and they should be able to give you something. He is incredible, and that's where he lives, okay? And I've been on the retreat there. It's pretty impressive stuff, and there's also a Western doctor there, so I would really urge you to give them a ring, and I think that would be the best thing to do. And then we've got multiple myeloma, which is basically mast cells and mast cell disease. And multiple myeloma is normally due to kidney deficiency, okay? Because it's and also partly associated to the liver and the spleen. So in these instances, what we need to do is we need to nourish the kidneys, and that's the main thing. And of course, it goes without saying you are seeing a Western doctor about this stuff. So again, we want the kidney fact sheet, and one of the best ways to strengthen the kidneys is, of course, by tapping. So what we're looking to do is to tap the soft joints, okay, and gua sha the body on the inside and the lower leg, okay. So basically, let me get his Oscar. So you want to tap inside, the inside lower leg. So basically there, either side. There, that's where you want to gua sha. And you want to go up, gua sha up, please. And then you want to tap all over the body, because tapping is really good for the body, okay? Because basically what you're doing is when you tap the body, the vibration goes through to the bones, and the kidneys are responsible for the bones, and the marrow of the bones is all related to the kidneys. And this is really important. That's why I tap and tell you, everyone, please get a tapper. And right now they've got a 20% discount. I mean, that's £5.80 off the price, which is, so please get one. This is the time to get one. And then for extra effort, if you really want to strengthen up the kidneys, and by the way, everybody needs to, we are all kidney deficient, okay? Tap the soft joints, which is the elbows, the wrists, both sides, the knees and the ankles. Those are your soft joints, okay? And those are the joints that you need to tap every single day. So, I've done it. 21, and I've answered all the questions. Ha! So there, Jules, you were saying that me with my long list of questions, and I gave you a whole insight into traditional medicine and marbles, which I was banging on about this morning. Oh, sorry, no, I haven't. I'm really sorry. Emotional attachment to food. I have one more. Emotional attachment to food. In your book, you say eating is one of the ways to create chi. Does that mean eating bad food generates bad chi and good foods generate good chi? I have an emotional attachment to food and struggle with my weight and feelings, and would be interesting to hear more about this. Okay, well, that's something that I know lots about. So basically, you don't really want to eat bad food, okay? Because bad food isn't very good for you, okay? It's not. And good food is good for you. And part of what we talk about is about, when we're on this healing journey together, is about being kind, okay? And it's about being nice to yourself, and it's about loving yourself. And if you're eating food that isn't very good for you, that's kind of not very loving, and it's not very nice. So it's important, first of all, to start with any changes of pattern from the heart. And that's why we do laughter and smiling and love. And that's why we spend a lot of time on our community giving you our laughter and our love, because it's important, okay? And when you have a relationship with food where you're eating like in a way that you know is not constructive to your body, then that's normally indicative that there is a lack of love in the heart. So the way to start to repair that is to do the Qigong with us and do the laughter Qigong and the healing sounds, because it starts to balance the body, okay? So we don't look at food as the problem. It's just a symptom, okay? The problem is that the heart is hurting, and therefore the food is kind of filling the void inside the body and making you feel better temporarily about what the problem is. So what we do is we ignore the food, just don't worry about it. Don't get yourself caught up into what's bad and what's good. Just be kind to yourself. Come from a place of love and go, I'm just going to love myself. And okay, if loving, and you're in your process. So don't worry about the food. Think about your marbles, okay? Do the Qigong, do the meditation, listen to Jasmine's healing sounds, come onto the live feeds with us, okay? Follow the advice in the book. Try and think about more how you eat, okay? Don't worry about the good or bad food. Think about the timings of food. Go, I'm only going to eat 3 times a day, okay? I'm going to eat 3 times a day at these times. I mean, I'm in lockdown. I can do that right now. Just do that. Focus on that. Focus on giving yourself treats at the end of each day, going, as long as I do A, B, and C, I'm going to get chocolate at 8 o'clock at night, but not too much. But if you're going to eat chocolate, get the most expensive chocolate you can afford to get. So don't eat cheap chocolate, because that doesn't satisfy you. Get something like really nice and have it there and know you're going to have it, and reward yourself with it and love yourself with it and go, I'm going to have that. That's not bad for you. That's balance, okay? And that's about pleasure. And the thing about pleasure is that too much of anything is then unpleasurable. And it doesn't matter what it is, okay? Too much healthy food is unpleasurable. Too much healthy living is unpleasurable. It's pleasurable to have balance. And that is what the Taoist masters talk about, okay? That's what we talk about all the time. It's about having balance into your body, please, okay? And that's what's so important. So I think that is probably, please don't eat salad. The only time you're going to be able to eat salad is, okay, like about now, roughly in the summertime. But actually, you're much better off eating cooked vegetables, stir fries. Lower back pain is kidneys. Please download the kidney fact sheet, and please use the tapper on your very lower body and do the healing sounds with us in the kidneys. Always, always, always please do Qigong. I know, I'm a stuck record. Whatever your symptoms, whatever your questions, whatever I'm answering, do Qigong, do meditation. All right, Jules, you like salad. You can have salad. It's the summer, but you shouldn't eat salad at any other time of year. It is not good practice. So if you like it, you can eat it. If you like wine, have wine. If you like ice cream, have ice cream. Just don't have too much of anything, because then it becomes imbalanced and then it's not constructive. On that note, I need to go and pause for breath. And Mr. Brindle wants to watch this football box set that I'm watching with him, which he's already watched because I've been up here. So I have to go. But thank you all so much for joining us as ever, okay? Yes, cooked veg salads are okay too. Honestly, right, just Google it. Please come back tomorrow morning. I will see you at 8 o'clock for my morning Qigong. Jasmine is doing her singing bowls, which are amazing, at 12:15. Please try and join her. It's absolutely beautiful. That is then followed by me in a complete comatose for half an hour, desperately trying to lead a meditation, failing miserably because I'm so chilled out. That is the off switch. And then tomorrow evening at 8 p.m, Hey You will be back with a 20 product giveaway. And in the meantime, please remember, there is 20% off for you and your friends as a big thank you for helping us get to 20,000 followers. SPF and I and Jules would like to say thank you all so much for joining us this evening, and I will see you tomorrow morning.